Hello, welcome to Arcade Couch, best places to do friends get your gaming goodness each and every Monday. My name's Tom Blight. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Holdley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here, but disappointed we're not going to get Chris Pratt's voice coming out of the Italian plumber's body this Christmas season.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we recorded, Ciaran's like, I'll see you, Ciaran Muncher, by the way.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we start recording, Ciaran's like, wasn't there some like big news story or something being delayed? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then Ash suddenly has an epiphany where he must have realized, and then he's like, nah, cut himself off. I'll save it for the podcast. I got a big joke. So I missed this. Was that it? The Mario movie? Oh no, wait, I did see this. Was this the whole?
Yeah, because
hello, this is Miyamoto.
Nintendo tweeted out, "Hello, this is Miyamoto."
That's what that was. Yeah, I forgot the meme. Good copy pasta.
Good times.
Yeah. Hello, this is Miyamoto. Yeah.
Or was it though?
I was doing
We'll never know.
talking about that. So I did this. Like Italian, like.
Yeah, you did your Chris Pratt Mario impression.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did this the other day at work. Someone's like, "Is that racist to do that?" I'm like, "No, I don't think so."
It's slightly. I feel like it's not racist, but it's like
Only if you're doing an Italian accent at the same time.
Yeah. No accent.
We're talking about pasta.
No accent. Just someone. I was like,
You're just emphasizing with your hands.
I said that smell. I said food smelled good, and then went. Right? What's the ruling? Anyway.
No, I don't think it's racist. It's just weird.
I feel like it's like the step down. Like maybe it's insensitive.
Because
like
I then countered that with, look, if Chris Pratt can play the Italian plumber, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, now okay.
Well, I mean, is Chris Mariset or whatever his name is Italian? I don't think so.
He's not either. That's a good point. Actually, I don't believe so.
Damn.
Well, I mean, he could be, but
how many Italian people have played Mario?
None.
Exactly.
Who played him in the movie, the live action one?
I mean, maybe. I don't actually remember. I don't know the thing. But.
Or voice acted in
Bob
like
Are
Hoskins.
Italians real people? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so.
Look, okay, that one's probably. That's
fair. We're allowed to say that because apparently Australia is a real country. So
yeah.
Well, you're a bunch of convicts, but
yeah. You know what I mean?
That's true, but we're real.
Weird way to start this podcast, but that adds up.
So here's Ciaran Marchant.
You know, I said that.
We've already said that bit. Actually,
I missed that over my laughing at my own joke.
Yeah.
You know,
but feel free if you're Italian and
Let's know.
if you want to call me out for doing this the other day, that's fine. Just tell me.
I don't know. It just kind of looks like you're bad at clicking your fingers.
Oh my god.
But don't they have it like it's an iPhone emoji?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
How is this
we spent like 20 minutes talking about bets last week, so we could all get
that's okay. That
all
was still
bets are literally off.
I will say, everybody, none of the bet talks back. I think I'm fairly certain I just got skamazed out of.
You got hustled.
I got hustled so hard. I'm so fucked for this.
Talking about bets, we're going to come back to this later when we're talking about what we've been playing this week because we got an update on bet time. But also on the show this week, we're talking about Xbox announcing a showcase, Jeff claiming it's part of Summer Game Fest, games coming to releasing next year, and we're going to go bowling. And Kern's played the Overwatch thing, that Secret Leave thing for 2. I don't think it's
second beta.
Second beta times. But let's get into news first. So yeah, firstly, press start writes, we know that E3 isn't happening this year, but that hasn't stopped Xbox from announcing the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase, which will be taking place in its usual E3 slot on Monday, June 13th at Australian 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Xbox said that Xbox
E3 lives.
It does live. Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase will feature titles from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, and partners from all around the world. It will include everything you need to know about the diverse lineup of games coming to Xbox ecosystem, including the upcoming release to Game Pass on both releases to both Xbox and PC Game Pass. So yeah, 3 a.m. if you're in Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra, Brisbane, 2:30 a.m. Northern Territory, Adelaide, and 1 a.m. if you're in Perth. Is when you're going to be looking forward to that one. Who's going to wake up at 3 a.m. and have some good E3 fun? No one? Just me?
No, I will.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a proud Game Pass subscriber, I think it's...
You need to You tweet my hot takes and hot memes.
I was about to say, if you don't,
fresh and live.
if you're not doing it live, you don't get to have the hot takes and memes. I feel like it's a requirement. Like if you're waking up 3-4 hours later and then just catching up tweeting hot takes, no, you weren't there, man.
Sorry.
Like you weren't
there. You weren't in the trenches. You weren't there doing the hard yards.
You weren't there, so I don't know. I don't think that you're allowed to. I don't think that's out. But yeah, I'm keen for this. It's good that I'm sure more will follow. I wouldn't be surprised if we, other companies.
Look, we'll end up with. I'm sure Jeff Keighley will announce fucking his months and months of events.
He's already announced.
You mean other people announced?
I was going to say he's already announced.
He's already announced Summer Games Fest is back. He hasn't announced shit for it. All I know is that this got announced, and then he retweeted it on the Summer Games Fest account and was like, "Look forward to this." It's not part of Summer Games Fest, but Jeff, once again, as we discussed before, has absorbed it. Yes, is now part of the Summer Games Fest. So yeah, June at least with that. And then, more will come. So we're going to have some stuff happening in June. I would expect more. Oh, we do know THQ's doing something there already. They already announced they're doing something in June as well. So we have two things at least set for June. So there you go. Not much to discuss here, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, they revealed it. Logo. I was just going to ask, Ciaran, did you ever play the remake of the first one?
No, and I should.
Yeah.
It's like on the list of games that I'm like, I'd actually probably enjoy that if I played that and want to play it, but just never got around to it.
Yeah, because I'm someone who never played any of the original Modern Warfares, so like I played that as like just fresh.
Yeah, no, I played the originals.
Yeah, I know most people have. I'm definitely like so, like the fact I haven't played those and the fact I haven't played GTA 5. I think I'm in like a very small number of. For those
you are in
games.
a really weird minority. That is really
for particular games.
No, what? No. And also about
you and like third world country people.
Yeah.
He's added another layer to it. Actually, he's added never played Elden Ring to it as well, but has purchased Elden Ring. He's now in this weird He's one of these weird. Dylan is probably the
only person who's bought Elden Ring has not played Elden Ring.
I have brought GTA 3 times though.
Actually, it's you and parents who bought Elden Ring for somebody else.
Yeah.
Those are the only people in that category.
I can't play it now because it ruins the joke.
He's
and I broke it.
Exactly. He's becoming one of those.
If you watched last week, it disappeared.
Yeah.
It hit that door and blew up. So
it's like
the fact is, I can't confirm if the disc is okay because it is in plastic and it does sound like it's banging around in there. To be honest, so
oh my god! But this is the problem. He's one of those people that's like, I don't watch Star Wars, so that when people ask me if I have, I can laugh at their reactions. When
just to clarify, I watch Star Wars. Like,
I don't know. Do you have proof?
It's not like we've got podcasts or anything.
No, I just want to clarify that.
It's not like you wanted to call podcast Scholars of the Wills or something a really niche and focused title for a Star Wars podcast.
Like a Holocron entries instead.
Yeah, much more mainstream.
Much more mainstream.
Had to come up a bit, but fuck off. I'm keen for this. I like the first remake. I have some criticisms or whatever, but really great looking game, good campaign and everything. So yeah, not much to talk about here.
It was never really a remake. It was a reboot.
Yeah, it is a reboot. It's got its own timeline, its own characters. I don't really know, but it's also going to be presumably the very first Call of Duty game release post the Xbox thing. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects the Call of Duty ecosystem.
Is Sony going to be pushing it super hard? You assume so because of the
it depends on if. Will that be the last of the... Because there's a couple more games left on the Sony
deal.
2,
I believe.
2, right?
Yeah.
For Activision?
Yeah, for the Sony exclusive.
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
I thought it came out there was only 1 or 2, and then Xbox had said, yes, we will fulfill that.
Well, they have to legally, I guess. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Talking about upcoming games, press start. Right. Respawn Entertainment's previously confirmed sequel to Jedi Fallen Order is reportedly targeting a launch next year and is expected to leave behind the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One player base and release exclusively for Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5 and PC. According to Jeff Grubb of VentureBeat on his latest episode of Grub Snacks, EA and Respawn had initially hoped to launch Jedi Fallen Order 2 this year, but those plans shifted, resulting in the game not coming out until 2023. Grubb also believes we might get our first look at the Jedi sequel, which is said to be dropping the Fallen Order title for the second iteration at Star Wars Celebration, which is taking place at Anaheim at the end of May. I would totally believe this, considering we did get a first look at Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order at that event when it was previously revealed the first time. They had that's where they dropped a trailer for it, and then it was 2 months after that month or whatever when it's like a month or less than a month, I guess, before E3 was after that, and they had the EA thing showcase there, and then they showed some gameplay there. So they sort of went, May, cinematic, whatever, and then a few weeks later, E3 gameplay.
Do you think the gameplay drops at the Xbox conference?
No, I mean, it's highly possible because they're not doing anything. They said they're not doing
this
anything.
Exclusivity stuff, then could be a good time.
I don't think. Well, if it shows up at Xbox, it's either just because they got a marketing deal on it, and that's about it. Because it's coming. It's definitely going to come to everything. Like, they could have a marketing deal where they want to tie it to the thing, but who knows? Maybe PlayStation strikes a deal. Maybe we get a state of play during June. Maybe Jedi Fallen Order shows up in that. Maybe they actually do.
I feel like it was pretty neutral from memory.
Yeah, it was, but EA's not doing a showcase, they've said, this year. They're not doing EA Play.
They'll just do an exclusive with Jeff Keighley as part of some Games Fest.
That's true. They could just do that. That is fair. They could totally just do that. So. But yeah, what's the Ash, like, on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, what's your excitement level if we're seeing Jedi Fallen Order 2 in the next, month or two?
I mean, an 8. I mean, the first game was alright, so... I
feel like 8's a lot higher than alright.
Yeah, I was going to say 8's
they're going to knock the sequel out of the park.
No.
First game was good, so the next week game will be even better.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at things, I guess. Yeah. Ciaran?
What about you? You hate it, so not excited at all. Surprised you put this article, this story on the docket.
I put heaps of things in here I don't give two shits about. No, what's your thing, Ciaran? What would you?
I still need to go back and play it. Like, I have
Did you start it at all?
Yeah, I started it. I got up to maybe I finished off the first time.
Frog, right?
Is that as far as you got the frog? Man,
you would remember the frog if you got up to the frog.
GIG.
Oh, no. I killed the frog. No. I got to at least the first time. Like, after the first time you've been to Darth Maul's home planet.
Dathomir,
that's the one.
That's literally
not very far. Like, it's the first third of the game.
I was about to say,
yeah, like, it's not far at all. Like, that's where I was. I was literally just about to go to the Wookiee
Kashyyyk
home planet for the first time.
I don't watch Star Wars.
He doesn't have a podcast.
Yeah, I'm probably at a 6, I guess. Like,
you had a problem with
I just thought the story wasn't that interesting. I didn't think Cal
wasn't your major. I was going to say you were a Cal hater, weren't you?
Well, I wouldn't say I was a hater. Like, I just didn't find him a particularly interesting character.
Ash, would you say Dylan was a Cal hater?
I mean, on the scale of people who liked him as opposed to people who didn't like him, he's definitely more on the dislike scale.
Yeah,
that's a very long way. Fucking hell. I mean, to be fair, anytime I say I dislike anything or give anything a 6 or a 7, it's like, well, you hated
it.
Like,
isn't that everything? Isn't that just how culture has grown, especially in the gaming space? Yeah. No, Ashley just said something that was good or okay was an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be like,
all right,
God of War. 8. Complain about. I'm like, I didn't love the trolls or whatever. You hate God of War.
Yeah, trolls are seminal to that game.
I'm like, Ghost of Tsushima had some problems with the narrative tying into the gameplay and stuff. Still a great game. Yeah, but you hate it. Like, it's like, yeah, why are everyone picking on me? Anyway, yeah, I'll go about 6. I had some problems with Cal and whatever else, but I'll be super intrigued to see where they're going to take the story direction next. Where they left him and what they're going to do, because yeah, I mean, they're coming closer to episode 4 territory. So it's like, are you gonna kill the dude or what? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And then the other, I think look, I'm going to spoil it. Skip ahead the next 30 seconds if you care, but honestly, the game's a few years old and we'll be talking about the sequel soon, apparently. So, spoilers will be off the table once the trailer's out for the sequel. But, I also didn't like the fact that I didn't like the last boss fight, and I didn't like the forced having Vader show up at the end for no fucking reason, as far as I'm concerned. Other than just the fact that it's Vader. Like, I'm like, there's no way he needed to be here. Like, get out of here. Alright, this game was announced. I remember I read the title and saw a press release and whatever else come through the inbox, and I was like, yeah, this sounds horrible. Why would I care about this? But then I watched the trailer, I was like, fuck, I'm in. So press start, writes. Because I'm a sucker. Gameloft has announced Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is a brand new adventure sim game coming to PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and PC in 2023, with an early access version of the game launching on all platforms soon for those who are either Game Pass members or those who purchase a Founders Pack on other platforms. The game allows you to travel to Dreamlight Valley, where you'll meet loads of Disney and Pixar characters. Going off the gameplay trailer, it seems similar to Animal Crossing in the sense you'll get to create your character, form bonds with the characters that you choose, whilst also building your own little house at the same time. There's also fishing with Goofy, harvesting fruit and vegetables with Wall-E. There seems to be a central story in place too, which you'll need to progress in order to solve the mystery. Just a couple of characters featured in the trailer are from The Lion King, Wall-E, Toy Story, Moana, Frozen, Lilo and Stitch, The Little Mermaid, and obviously Mickey and Friends. Disney has already confirmed that new characters and events will launch in the game ahead. Yeah, so like I remember seeing reading the title, like Gameloft, all this sort of stuff. I'm like, there's no way this is going to be any good. And then I watched the trailer. I was like, this actually looks like even from like a graphic standpoint and stuff, I was like surprised sort of how good and how much I sort of like the character models and everything else. I think the way this game falls apart is how microtransactions and all that sort of stuff is implemented.
Before you get like a fast pass to the game, like you have to
because it's free to play, there's going to be money involved. Like I understand that's fine to a degree, just depends how it's done. But I'm going to get even more sort of scrutinous of it because it's a kid's game. So that's where my problem is going to lie a lot more with like if the microtransactions and the way they're sort of doing it a lot more in your face. I'm like, ultimately, if I'm sitting there playing it as an adult, that's fine, but it is a kid's game. At the end of the day, it's a game that's targeted at kids, and I think there's a different level of that compared to something like a Call of Duty or whatever else, something like that. So, Ash, what do you think of this?
What do I think? I think I don't know how it fits into Kingdom Hearts 4, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people like go, okay, so
no
it's
connection at all in Kingdom Hearts.
It's Kingdom Hearts crossed with Animal Crossing.
Shot.
Like, what a game.
Okay.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, did you? No, I won't segue into that. I'll talk about that later.
It's yeah. I mean, I didn't know it was Gameloft, but that kind of makes sense. It sort of looks like it'll be like a Farmville-esque thing where, hey, we need you to collect carrots.
Yeah, it's just collecting and farming and cooking.
Just collecting and farming, and would you get to interact with Disney characters and create your character? I mean, like you said, as long as it's not super wants money for shit, then that's fine because this is obviously aimed at kids, that kind of stuff.
You gonna try it, you reckon? Or not care enough? Like, what's your
probably not care enough, but if there's is it going to be free to play?
I believe it's free to play. Yeah.
Is he going to have a platinum trophy?
I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for this. I was like, oh, cute Disney things. I mean, Ciaran, I don't think you're a sucker for cute Disney things quite like I am. But yeah, what do you think of the
Not as
trailer?
much.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting coming off the fact that Disney, not that I don't think we've ever spoken about it recently, but Disney's definitely been cracking down on a lot of its game-related stuff lately. With the Club Penguin reboot that was
we
being
did not
made
discuss this. I nearly brought it up and I deleted it because there was a lot that week and I'm like, I don't know how much we need to get into this.
What's the story?
So after Club Penguin was debunked by Disney a little while ago now.
Yeah, because for people who don't know, Disney actually brought Club Penguin like years and years ago.
Yeah, and so this has now been a tradition with previous to Club Penguin, it was Toontown. Disney closed the kind of free-to-play online multiplayer game Toontown, and then a group of fans remade it and called it Toontown Rewritten or Rebooted.
Something.
And then Club Penguin went through the same process, becoming Club Penguin Rebooted, Rewritten. I can't remember now.
Something like that.
But that was going on until it was believed that the creators started putting microtransactions into the game and started making money.
By the sounds of it, Disney let it go, let it slide for like a year or two when there was no money involved. The second they put microtransactions a couple months back is when Disney's like,
yeah. So it's interesting that this now comes on the heels of that. Like, it's like, okay, there's another.
Should just change it to a different bird.
Club Dodo.
Fuck it.
But apparently they took the people running it. Like, it wasn't like, hey, shut this out or we'll take you to court. It was like,
no, they literally just sued the shit out of them. And like, I think
they're
going to jail. Like, I think there's jail time involved for copyright infringement and stuff. Like, it's bad. Like, Disney's not like Nintendo fucking around when Nintendo just throws cease and desist at people. Disney was like, oh hell nah, we getting this done. Yeah,
I think
just don't fuck with the mouse. Okay,
there's a lot, and the reason, I mean, we're in it now. So, but the other thing, and the reason I was like, it's because it's like a lot more to pull apart with this Club Penguin thing, and it's like quite often I see people discussing as a. Disney just like bad guy Disney. How dare they, sue someone for illegally?
There was also like a lot of like child predator stuff happening on Club Penguin.
From all my belief, I think the reason they're so fast to act is because in the past, a lot of these Club Penguin reboot rip-off things, like I know there was the FBI like undercover thing where they found like people doing like underage, like trying to pick up underage kids and child pornography and all this being traded on these places. So whenever people are like, oh, Disney bad guy, I'm like, no, I think Disney jumped on this like live grenade because they were like, no. And I don't even think they waited to see if that was a thing happening in this one. They were like, no, like just get the fuck out of here. So, I mean, there's a lot more to it than just Disney bad guy shutdown thing. But yeah, anyway, that's Club Penguin. If you want to do some Googling or whatever, there's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening there.
It's a very deep hole to go into and to look into it. So, yeah.
The Verge writes, Warner Brothers and J.J. Abrams working on live action Hot Wheels movie. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot is partnering up with Warner Brothers for a live-action Hot Wheels movie. Yet another sign that Mattel is getting quite serious in the filmmaking business. Today, Warner Brothers and Mattel Films announced that Bad Robot has signed on to produce a live-action Hot Wheels film, described in a press release as a showcase of, quote, some of the world's hottest and sleekest cars, monster trucks, and motorcycles. End quote. Speaking about the collaboration, Mattel Films executive producer Robbie Brenner did not provide any plot details, but did allude to the new project being aimed at a broad swath of Hot Wheels fan base. Quote, as a global leader in car culture, Hot Wheels has been igniting the challenger spirit and auto enthusiasts for generations. For fans of all ages are now in for the ride of their lives with the incredible talent of J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. Join us alongside Warner Brothers pitches to transform Hot Wheels' legendary IP into a thrilling story for the big screen. End quote. So Hot Wheels, of course, something I guess a lot of people grow up with, playing with the cars. I've been playing the video game since, I guess, the PS1. Like, there's always been a bunch of video games. Like, it's a very, big, long-running franchise.
I was going to say, it's a bit of a stretch to have this as a video game story.
I wanted to chuck it in here because I wanted to talk about it. So, like, I just feel like it's a...
If only we had some kind of movie podcast we could talk about this on.
No, it's going to be a busy week. It's fine.
We got stuff, so... but yeah, I honestly, I think I'm keen. I feel like it's some of those things you could laugh at it and be like, this is going to be terrible. I think this could be really cool if they go meta, or you know what I mean. Like, so because if you just make it a car thing, then it's just a car. Like it's a
then
car.
It's just Need for Speed.
Yeah, I think you make it. You put like its characters inside.
I got
the cars,
you.
right?
You just do like a modern day version of Ridge Race. Not Ridge Racer. Freaking
Speed Racer.
Oh my god, Speed Racer.
That's what I was thinking. So I'm thinking Speed Racer type action. With you could even make it like the Lego movie, but cars, right? So people are playing with the cars, maybe,
but like Cars the movie, or
but like no,
I thought of that joke and I held off because I was like, no,
I
don't want to be disruptive.
You know what I mean? Like Will Ferrell's character is like playing with the stuff, right? But then when he leaves or whatever, like that world's alive. His little Lego town or whatever and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's Hot Wheels, but they come to life after the fact. You know what I mean?
Like cars, the cars are like cars from Cars, or the cars.
No. People are getting into the cars. There's characters.
Yeah.
I want characters. I don't want cars talking.
Yeah.
I
want it to be.
I want real people.
So every time they interact with them, suddenly a little driver jumps into the car.
Like real vehicles, people get into them, turn them on, and drive them.
Yeah, like there's still characters involved with them. They go through a crazy up and down adventure. They almost break up as a team. They come back together. They beat the final problem, and they just realize that it's all about family. And
loop the loops.
Yeah, it's you got to live your life a quarter track at a time.
You know what the funniest thing is if this came out and it was like street racing and stuff, then anyone complaining about Fast and Furious, now you just get to go watch the Hot Wheels movie. That's the one over there. But I mean, they did a Need for Speed movie, right? I don't know if anyone watched this.
With Aaron Paul.
So watch this. And they have like one street race maybe at the start, I think, from memory. And after that point, again, it just turns into an action thing. So even with that, they were like, nah, street racing is like so 2001. You know? No one does that shit anymore.
No. Stealing DVD players is so 2001.
Yeah, so they should still... really, if they remade Fast and Furious today, you know what they'd be stealing? PS5s.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep. PS5s or Bitcoin.
I mean, how do you steal a Bitcoin?
You hack somebody's Instagram account.
I mean, that's...
Nah, it's NFTs. It's different.
Yeah. Do you see that? Excited. Do you see that story the other day where someone's like, someone like hacked into his Instagram account, like stole these JPEGs, like worth millions? I'm like, this is why.
Yep.
And this is
I was gonna say this earlier, and then I had freaking. We don't talk about freaking crappy.
No, you can if you want to make a quick shit on it.
But very. I saw a story pop up today from former president of Nintendo America, Reggie.
Yeah.
Came out saying that he wished he could sell his Animal Crossing island on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. Don't say shit like this.
I mean, not necessarily on the blockchain, but like, if you were to sell your island, I mean, that would be...
No, let's not.
No, like, someone can take care of it if you don't want to play it anymore. It's like, it lives on.
Well, yeah, that's why you just give them your Switch.
No. They should just make islands transferable. Problem solved. There's no money involved.
Yeah.
Just add a feature in the game where you can send your island to someone else.
It's just
but money will get involved.
But like, I mean, if people want to do PayPal transactions on the side for islands, that there's nothing to do.
But then Nintendo doesn't get a cut.
Yeah, Nintendo can't do anything that. Yeah, but I don't want them to get cut. You know, I don't want them to encourage it.
They should.
I don't want them to encourage it. If they enable it, they're encouraging it. You know? Anyway, yeah, Hot Wheels. I'm kind of keen.
As long as they've got big orange tracks, I'll be all happy.
Yeah, well, so that Hot Wheel game, was that last year? I was trying to think. That was last year, right?
It was either last year or the year before. It was recent, though.
Yeah.
It was recent enough that I remember you.
That was good shit, right? And they still got DLC coming for that too, I think. So, I have some other stuff. But
wasn't something released?
They did a Batman one recently. I don't know if there's been something else since then that I've missed, but I know there was more coming. But I mean, that game was pretty good. And my major problem was the lack of tracks. There was way more tracks. So check that out if you're a Hot Wheels fan. You haven't played it. Hot Wheels Unleashed, that's the name. Yeah, I was trying to think. Gamescom. It's happening. Press start writes, Australia has been announced as the official partner country for this year's Gamescom 2022 event, which also makes a return in person for the Cologne, Germany event. So this is pretty cool for Australia. In a press release, organizer Colmnesty GmbH, I can't even attempt, reveals that it has signed a partnership agreement between itself, the German Games Industry Association, and ANZ's Interactive Games and Entertainment Association, GEA. It comes off the back of Australian government recently committing to implementing a major tax offset for local video game development, putting us in a great position to showcase the national's top talent and host Gamescom biggest joint Australian booth. So a large number of diverse Australian games companies will appear at the Australian Pavilion in the business area at Gamescom 2022. The joint stand will host a diverse delegation of businesses reflecting the broad landscape of the Australian games industry, in addition to well-known Australian games companies. Independent and startup studios will also appear. So it's not like Gamescom's here or anything like that may like excite, I guess, the general con attender or whatever, but from an industry, it's a partnership that, I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future we get Gamescom in Australia. That would be cool. Maybe not the main one, but the secondary one would be cool, I guess.
Whenever they can launch
Whenever they launch that, yeah. Because, of course, it was supposed to be in...
Asia, Malaysia, or going into somewhere like that.
It was there somewhere. I can't remember exactly what the city was. But... and then COVID happened, like everything in the world. But I think this is still very cool. This is this means that on the show floor at Gamescom, Australia's going to have a major section there where, I don't know like what Australian developers or businesses exactly are going to be there, but either way, it's going to be a great place for networking, showcasing Australian games industry, meeting and greeting, which is only going to be good for our industry as a whole and hopefully grow it and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I thought maybe not what everyone wants, but really cool nonetheless.
I think it makes sense, and it's encouraging that the government is going, hey, we should spend money on this because the games industry in Australia is worth putting some money into because we're getting some sort of return. Obviously, on the back of last year, we had Unpacking winning a bunch of stuff, Full Escape being nominated for a bunch of stuff, and then,
Goose Game.
On the back of Goose Game a couple of years ago, yes.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of really good years.
Australians know what we're doing.
Australian indie scene, good shit. And then I've got two weird, interesting stories. I'll start with this one. So, IGN writes, Telltale's The Walking Dead was originally pitched as a Left 4 Dead spin-off game before the team took the idea to Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman. In a documentary celebrating the game's 10th anniversary as spotted by Eurogamer, the game's original developers revealed that they were at first in talks with Valve about a Left 4 Dead narrative-led spin-off. What the fuck happened?
In a documentary celebrating the game's 10th anniversary, as spotted by Eurogamer. So Eurogamer spotted the documentary they put out?
It's them covering their butt for not being the one to spot it.
I guess, but it's a funny sentence.
So usually if
we just noticed this documentary you decided to release.
Sometimes if I just do something like this, I will put at the bottom of the article just like shout outs to... in brackets, I'll just put shout outs to Press Start or, something like that with a link where it's like, I'll just I didn't spot this, they did. And I've
you didn't spot the documentary. You spotted the news thing.
Yeah.
That segment.
Yes. The wording is,
funny.
It's not how I would personally write it, but I mean, I don't get paid. This dude does. So. Fuck was that? A simple prototype was made, but the plans fell through, and only later did Telltale approach The Walking Dead's creator Robert Kirkman about a setting in his game universe. Quote, the very first Walking Dead prototype, which actually was a different zombie thing that ended up turning into The Walking Dead. The first conversation was actually with Valve, said second design and direction lead Jake Rodkin. He continued, it was about, what if we did a narrative side story in the universe of the Left 4 Dead? The prototype was a completely text-based game that presented options for the player to choose instead of seeing them actually play out in the game world as in the final version of The Walking Dead. Ciaran, what alternate reality do you think this is where it's a text-based Left 4 Dead spin-off and not Telltale's The Walking Dead? What weird world would we be living in?
I don't know. This is sprung to my remembrance. I did... Walking Dead things with the 10-year anniversary, I saw Telltale put up a post about it, and once again, I was like, this is some weird shit going on. They're walking around in their skin suit again. I don't know, right? Maybe... I think it's a massive thing, right? If you look back at it, Telltale doesn't happen without Walking Dead.
No.
Telltale were kind of in the shitter before they struck gold with the first season of Walking Dead. They were coming off the back of some kind of pretty reasonable, financial failures in terms of the Tales from Monkey Island, I think it was.
They had
Jurassic, Back to the Future,
Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Sam and Max.
Which they weren't getting kind of.
No. Walking Dead was their first hit run,
mainstream acclaim. People who liked them and I guess liked the old style games from them really enjoyed them. But Walking Dead was not only the first time that they hit mainstream, it was their big change, their big kind of engine change, how their games presented. The games were no longer really about puzzles; they were more about conversations and playing them through like a TV show. It's crazy because if you think about without Walking Dead, there's just so many other games just don't get made. We don't get Life is Strange without Walking Dead.
No, I would say the first season of Walking Dead influenced a lot of games.
Yes, Like we miss out on so much if we didn't have Walking Dead. I almost think Walking Dead is kind of partly responsible for the tradition of branching narratives more popularized within gaming.
I'd say that and Mass Effect probably are the...
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that Mass Effect and the BioWare team. Yeah, it's just as a whole, I think that period of time, if Walking Dead wasn't what Walking Dead we know Walking Dead as, I think gaming and the kind of the steps we've made forward in gaming happened very differently, or we're in a very different place as a grand scheme. It's very much a butterfly effect type thing that is this kind of singular game. If it doesn't happen the way it happened, a lot of other things change around it.
Yeah, for sure. It's a weird one to think about. Like, when I saw the story pop up the other day, I was like, wait, what? Like, you tell me there's a word out there where it's a left, like this is pitched as, it's just such, I always find it so interesting sometimes when a game like this is, 10 years old and you think you just, like, everything's sort of been covered, and then someone drops like a bombshell, like, oh yeah, it was originally pitched as a Left 4 Dead spin-off. I'm like, why haven't we heard this before? Like, why has it taken so long for this weird nugget of information to be unveiled even? So yeah, it's just
was Left 4 Dead like at its peak at that period, or
it would have been when they were
I can't
pitching
remember.
it. Yeah.
That would be like pre Left 4 Dead 2 or roughly
around the time, but we don't know when exactly
so
pitched
there would have been interest in it, so like the potential would have been there for it also to have been successful. Assuming they fleshed it out beyond being a text-based game.
I mean, Left 4 Dead was massive for years, more so outside of Australia, because obviously Left 4 Dead was a worldwide phenomenon with 1, and Left 4 Dead 2 was huge in America and didn't do fuck all in Australia because we got the censored version. So
yeah, because it got banned, and then you guys got the watered down version of it.
But yeah, if the alternate universe would have happened, Telltale could still have its original team under Valve for all we know.
I mean, I don't know. Valve doesn't buy many studios, even if they...
Valve, that's the thing. Valve is, like, even then, it's like, Valve is Valve. They're very particular about it. Like, look, they sit on Half-Life 3, which is just the fucking money like, it's money that's just sat there. They could have that money. If they just made the game, they would have an endless amount of money, but I think at the same time,
I'm pretty sure they're
in a position where they...
already.
Pardon?
I'm pretty sure they've got an endless amount of money already.
They do,
but
could
it's
have
like, 2 endless amounts of money.
They could have another form of endless amount of money. Like, I do feel like maybe Valve as a studio itself, or Valve as a publisher, is not as proclaimed anymore. Yes, it's still, got Dota 2, it's still got your Counter-Strike, but they haven't really done anything extra since Half-Life Alyx, which was, 2-3 years ago now? It's
not technically. They made a Portal spin-off game that released at the same time as the Steam Deck. You can play it on PC, but it was designed as a good portable puzzle game. Apparently, it is quite good.
Of course,
but yeah,
Steam Deck, and of course the Steam Deck we can't comment on, I guess, because it's not
in Australia available anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't happen here.
No, considering people are still waiting for fucking pre-orders in America, I don't know when the hell are we going to get it. But yeah, interesting tidbit there. And then other interesting behind-the-scenes stories been happening this week. This one's quite funny. Yuji Naka, the former head of Sonic team at Sega, writes Polygon, and the director of disastrous musical platformer Balan Wonderworld, says he was removed from the game's development 6 months before its completion, and that he sued publisher Square Enix over the decision. Naka said his court case is now over and he is no longer bound by company rules, but does not disclose the resolution. In a lengthy Twitter thread posted Thursday, Naka apologized to fans who brought Balan Wonderworld, which he described as unfinished, according to a translation of his comments. According to Naka, he was removed as director of Balan Wonderworld by the game's producer, head of marketing, head of sound, managing director, and human resources department for 2 reasons. One issue that caused conflict during the development, Naka said, citing court documents, was a promotion that used a YouTuber's piano arrangement of music from Balan Wonderworld instead of the original composition. Naka said he insisted that the original be released. The second issue was a disagreement with Arzit, the game's developer, over the quality of the game. Naka said he made comments to Arzit about the improvements to Balan Wonderworld and bug fixes that were not addressed, leading to a ruined relationship with Arzit. Naka further apologized for fans for not interacting with them on social media, saying he was restricted from doing so by Square Enix. He said he believes that Square Enix does not value game fans or games themselves, based on his experience developing Balan Wonderworld. Citing his work on the original Sonic the Hedgehog, Naka recounted that the game was changed just 2 weeks before its completion, so if Sonic had just one ring left, he could continue to fight. Naka said the design choice was a result of approving the game's design until the very end, and that he wasn't afforded a similar opportunity as director of Balan Wonderworld. He said he ultimately involved a lawyer to negotiate with Square Enix on changes to the game, but was refused and filed suit. This has continued. He's also, there's been a few other stories, more or less, where he continues just to say Square Enix sucks ass, more or less. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. And look, in a world where there's also a story I don't have here, but it was going around last week where the head of Square Enix, whatever, is talking about, NFTs in games and all this other gibberish and, all this just very money-focused stuff, I guess, which is always weird to say when you're talking about a business because money is the focus, but, people know what I'm saying when I'm saying that. Yeah, Ash, what'd you make of this story? Just the fact that for a while people were sort of blaming this guy, because he was the director of the game and he didn't, he was unable to stick up for himself or whatever because of Balan Wonderworld. Now, finally, after the court case, which we still don't know, I assume he got paid out or maybe something was finished, but now he's free just to literally just be like, Square Enix sucks. They don't care about the game. They pushed it out when they knew it was unfinished. They wouldn't let me finish the fucking game. They were doing all these weird choices. I don't know. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's an odd one. It's like it's hard to say because obviously, he's the director. The reason the game was not in a good position is because he was directing it, I guess. So it's like, how do you rectify that element of it all? So I mean, I think it's a bit of a shit show, and the game was bad. Everybody didn't like it. Let's just move on rather than covering it in more shit. I think.
Ciaran, do you have any hot takes?
Not really. I think you both covered it very well, considering it's not very well received. Generally, studios there does seem to be accountability for why it is, and I think it is easiest to. I guess it's the easy move is to move the director on rather than move a whole team on. You can't.
You listed a lot of people who had a problem with him, so
yeah.
So I look forward to Square Enix maybe putting a statement forward, but unlikely, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's been a bit of criticism on Square Enix lately, so I wouldn't say that he's completely.
No, Square Enix is all over the place.
Yeah.
They're either putting out really bad games like Balan Wonderland or The Quiet Man, or having successful games but underperforming because they've got super high expectations. Yeah.
Well, what they consider, under. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing. Ciaran. Overwatch 2. You had to stay up, get up, I don't know, to get a code. Talk us through the journey here.
So the story.
You buy one off the black market, send some crypto to somebody.
No. Because, and I don't think you can. You probably could in one way. So, Overwatch 2 beta released 27th our day. I guess it's the 26th in America. And initially there was no beta key sent out on the initial beta launch date. It was anybody who had previously had alpha access were accessing in the first day. Later that day, anybody who signed up, which was to the beta, were given a chance to have a opt-in code sent to them directly, which was very minimal. I know a couple people did get that. And then the primary way to receive your Overwatch 2 beta key was to watch 4 hours of particular Twitch streams between 10 a.m. PT through till I think it was 6 p.m. that same day. No, it was 11. It might be, yeah. But for us in Australia, that meant it went from 3 a.m. in the morning to 11 a.m. the same morning. And you had to make sure you watched 4 hours of content between that whole time. If you didn't watch anything during that time, you didn't.
So the latest you could get up is 7 o'clock.
You got up at 7 o'clock on the dot.
So I woke up at 3:30.
Yeah.
I was meant to work. My alarm was set for 3, and then I was like, missed that. Randomly woke up though. Go me. And I was like, oh, okay. Turned on stream and everything, and just went back to bed.
Who did you watch?
I watched Super.
4 hours?
Super TF is the goat.
Love them.
He's the goat. You should love them. They are the goat of Overwatch. But no, yeah. So that happened.
But wait, you went back to bed. You didn't actually watch.
Yeah, I went back to. I did not watch.
So what would have happened if he had stopped streaming under 3 hours?
So
4 hours.
fun thing did happen to me. So I woke up at I woke up at like 7. Got up. First thing I did after I got up was went and checked my PC just in case. Looked at it. It was his offline screen. I was like, oh fuck. But he had either gone offline or disconnected or something and then come back up, and my PC just hadn't refreshed. Luckily for me, that was only like 45 minutes. So all I did was refresh the screen and go again, which is why I didn't go with the plan originally of get up at 7 and do it from 7. Because if you did that and your PC crashed or the stream
what
crashed...
What if you didn't get up in like 60 seconds?
Exactly. Or if you didn't get up quick enough, you're fucked. It was, for Australian players, it was not great. But
good practice though for E3 this year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not if I'm like half an hour late to it. That could be annoying. But no, so yeah, I've been playing Overwatch 2 since yesterday, so time of recording it is Friday. Really funny, kind of interesting thing is, so the game is funny thing is,
I guess, just Overwatch.
I guess it lends itself to the meme of is Overwatch 2 actually a different game or a new game? Is that the beta is like a 13 gigabyte patch that bolts onto the main game. So they use Overwatch 1 and they just bolt the new stuff on top of it. So it's like, guys,
they pimped your ride.
And you pick, you want to play in the Overwatch 2.
Ooh, there's some extra skin textures.
So you load in, and yeah, it's still got
new lines.
It still shows you as playing Overwatch on your Battle.net. It's still the same friends list. It does interestingly. I guess the nicer thing is all your keybinds and your sensitivity settings and all your settings for the game.
That's
carry
important.
over.
Yeah, that's why they do it that way. Yeah.
Wouldn't be that. So no, that does lend itself to say is Overwatch is Overwatch 2 actually a separate game or what's the go with it? My overall experience so far, I've actually really enjoyed Overwatch 2. Going to the biggest change, of course, is going to 5v5 instead of 6v6. I think it makes the game a lot cleaner to both play and to watch and look at. Having 2 less players in a map at once really kind of shakes up how fights stay on. The game feels more fluid. It doesn't necessarily have as much stop and start kind of team fights. Overwatch 1 was very much we have a team fight, we have a fight finishes 30 seconds to a minute of everybody kind of getting ready again and then going again, where this game plays out a lot more smoothly. It has all the original maps from Overwatch 1 in the game.
Yeah, because it's
because
it's a patch
because it's a patch on. Except for they are all updated. They all have map changes. And the other thing they do, so it's new, is that they included like different day-night cycles in the maps. So the maps are, this map that you played in Overwatch 1 was nighttime. Oh my god, it's daytime now. It's all new and
crazy
different. They've removed a lot of
twos at the end of everything.
They should. Removed a lot of the CC out of the game, so there's not many stuns. The game as a whole is, I guess, a more fun experience for damage players. There's a lot less time shooting at shields because there's only one tank now. And it does actually suit itself to be a different experience. It isn't just Overwatch 1 watered down. Like, it is very much a different feeling experience. It is faster flowing. It's at an interesting point where they... it's very much in, of course, a beta stage, and you could see that playing the game. Characters don't have new character portraits, or characters that have new models that we already know of don't have their new models implemented into the game already. The first new character, Sojourn, is playable in this beta. It has been leaked as of late that there is 2 more characters at least coming to Overwatch 2 before launch, to kind of continue filling out the roster. I think the biggest thing is this is the first brand new content for Overwatch fans in, I think, 2 or 3 years. Like, everything else is just being rehashed, events and skins, and there's never really been any big updates. And I guess the point is, when you look at a lot of the updates in terms of the character balances, the changes they've made to different characters, part of you does go, well, this all could have been done in the base game.
Because you suckers just kept buying the skins and they were happy to take the money. And they're like, well, why do we need to put effort on maps and stuff?
That is fair.
Buying the fucking skins.
But at the same time, I do think there was a decent kind of fall in the player base. And it's a positive thing. I think the updates, graphically, it does look like a better game. The sound design, I think, is actually fucking amazing. There are just some characters that you just like listening to the sound of the guns when you're shooting them. I don't know what it is about the sound design and the audio design around it that is really, really fun to play around with and to experience. Has a great soundtrack. I think it's in an interesting spot. For the first time in a very long time, I'm actually kind of positive about Overwatch. I know that's a scary comment for both of you.
I enjoyed you playing other video games for the short time.
Been nice to be a trio.
Yeah.
No. But, hey, speaking of previous, things that stopped me, I did cancel my Final Fantasy subscription this week.
You can only have one drug at a time, you know what I mean? Like,
you can only have
you can't mix code.
Exactly.
You got to bank all that money to buy new Overwatch skins.
No, but it is... Overwatch is in a good spot for the first time. If you still wanting to jump in and you've missed out on a key next weekend or this week... No, it's this weekend because we're dropping on the Monday. Every hour of Overwatch League is having, I think, 1,500 beta keys are being dropped each hour. So if you just have the YouTube stream up of the Overwatch League up throughout the weekend, there's a decent chance you'll get a drop. It's the first time YouTube's ever had drops.
Are Tank Pros concerned about them being only one tank drop?
I guess the thing is the Overwatch League this year is playing on Overwatch 2. So they have already...
So 16% of all players.
I was about to say, so like a bunch of people lost jobs, yeah.
A bunch of people lost jobs, yeah, exactly. Well, not necessarily lost jobs. I guess
bench warmers now.
Not exactly bench warmers, but I guess you never... I guess what the problem is, because you only have one tank player on a team now, you can never predict which type of tank you're going to need at a time. So do you get a tank player that can just kind of play everything, or Overwatch League has always had kind of players that are proficient in one or two characters of their role? Do you get a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of tanks, and you swap them in and out based on what you need? What is the meta? It's an interesting quandary that it needs. I think looking at it now, there is a problem with tanks at the moment where, especially the original 2 main tanks, Winston and Reinhardt, do feel like they have dated designs right now. They both kind of suck. They both getting outplayed, and especially when we see characters like Doomfist just got moved from a DPS to a tank role, and Orisa just got her kit completely changed, and they're both extremely fun, and they're the main tanks people are seeing in the beta currently. Orisa is a character now, instead of previously where she was kind of just a slowly moving horse that shot at things, now like chucks spears at people and can like run at people, like spinning her spear around and stuff. It's actually really fun. It's just they're at an interesting point where it's what work is going to be done in Overwatch. I don't see Overwatch 2 coming out officially until May next year, so I still think we're 12 months away from its actual release. So I still think there's a lot of time for the devs to work on this game and actually bring it full round. So Overwatch Leagues watching Overwatch League this season, I think is going to be very different to any other season, of course. But it'll also be interesting watching a professional Overwatch play on a game that's not fully done, and kind of see how that goes.
I mean, it's interesting that they're playing a game that nobody else can play, kind of.
Yes, and they've had access to the game only for the last month. So they've literally had the game for a month. We had, Super, who I mentioned as the Twitch streamer I watched. He's, I think, largely known as the greatest player of all time for Overwatch. Like, he's pretty much done everything in Overwatch. He retired a couple weeks into them getting Overwatch 2, and he was a tank player. And it was a combination.
God was good.
Like obviously, you don't really know too much about it. Maybe he wasn't feeling it. His kind of reasoning was he didn't really have the fire to go around again and put in the energy and time that is required for this stage. But
I think it's 22 years old.
Question, how old is he?
Super is like 21 or 22.
Yeah,
He's
because they always retire like when they're like early 20s.
Well, he retired. He didn't retire. He's just retired from it. He's
literally any esports pro player retires, and they're like.
Once you hit like
the oldest I've seen is like maybe 24, 25.
I can start drinking in America now. I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
It is getting better nowadays. Like it's getting better currently, but there was a point where you were washed at like 24,
but
25.
I've always stood by because people would be like, "Well, that's just how it is. Like your reflexes go down." I've always been of the argument like. Esports as sustainability of an industry in a world where players are not like too old and
where their prime is 6 years,
where their prime is between like 16 and 22 or whatever. That is not a good sustainable like system for a sports.
Well, I guess the thing is with esports as a whole, I guess the longest running esports we've had are like Dota 2, CS:GO.
CS:GO is probably the
Rocket
oldest.
League CSGO is very much the oldest, but in terms of like actually having prominent scenes now, like StarCraft is pretty much very close to being a dead scene. Like StarCraft was like the OG. Like
I mean, look at Day9. He retired at 23, and now he's like 48 years old, and he can't play games anymore at all. He just does
48 years old, but he makes a fuck ton of money doing anything else he wants to with Magic and fucking hosting and YouTube, and it's when you look at StarCraft. When it was big 10, 15 years ago, like that was being played in stadiums in Korea. And
the game, if you go find clips of it, it's hilarious because the game looks like arse and people are yelling at the screen and the commentary is hilarious.
My favorite quote is, my favorite story about this to kind of emphasize this is during South Korea's World Cup qualifier, they had an esports StarCraft professional player come into the locker room before the game to pump them up and excite them. And the team was like excited to meet one of their heroes. Like that is just how different culturally that is compared to anything we have or anything a Western society has currently.
Interesting. Well, I mean, as someone who doesn't care about Overwatch, I'm keen to at least keep my eye on the esports side of it because that side's interesting. It doesn't happen. Like meta changes in games, but like. It'd be like a MOBA, like ditching a lane or adding a new lane. I don't know, like it's a very big shift, and especially it's like a game that's not set in stone. Like this game is going to change, like in the next. Yeah. I was trying to think of like an analogy that for people, like I was like thinking like if you care about AFL, it's like suddenly they got rid of one of the two like 1-pointer sides, and like you can only click a
or just stuff like you can
I don't know.
Like there's just less players. Like you no longer have rucks. Like you don't have rucks anymore. The bounce doesn't happen. We do American football style where one team kicks it to the other team.
For people who are like, what are you talking about for the last 5 minutes? I guess, it's like the equivalent of literally an entire role going. Like someone's
like a entire like person just being.
Yeah. And if the game wasn't a major esport, it would be like, whatever. But because it is a major esport, it's like, will they change something in the game that literally affects a bunch of people's livelihoods to a degree? Like that's the interesting side of it. So bets, what I've been playing. Ciaran already knows this because I filled him in recently, but
no. I'll join in on this.
We made a bet the other week. Oh!
Have you been playing this game?
For audio listeners.
Oh my god, he got the sword from...
For audio listeners, Ciaran's holding a copy of
I
Sword.
actually legitimately looked at EV... When I went and bought this, I looked and I was like, I almost bought Shield, and then I was like, I don't want fucking Shield, I want Sword.
So, you paid full Nintendo price?
I paid like $69.
Yeah,
that was even for like a pre-owned copy. Like it was...
That's fine.
Yeah, right.
I'll come back to that in a second because that's funny how you've gone and brought it. But so I have completed my Pokedex in Pokemon Sword. Now, of course, the bet was to get a complete living dex. I'm not quite at that stage, but the completing the Pokedex for people who don't play Pokemon games is so like if you catch a Pidgey evolve that one Pidgey through. You get all 3 ticked off in the Pokedex. What I want to do, living Pokedex, is I need a Pidgey, I need a Pidgeot, I need a Pidgeotto. I need one of each in my boxes. So I have a living Pokedex. I have one of every Pokemon in a box in a row. So I have all 400 Pokemon, not one of every one that evolves, sort of thing. So to get a Pokedex completion is a lot easier than it is to get a living Pokedex. So I've still got to get that part. There's a few little hurdles I have to go through, including Pokemon that you can only get one obs that I have to trade for, and stuff like that still to figure out. Some stuff I'll probably have to breed so I can get baby forms and then evolve them, and some bits and bobs like that. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. I did not screw Ciaran over, because if you go back and listen, I never said anything other than what you said. I won't do it. I said, what fucking bet you want to make? And you were straight onto it. You were so adamant.
I got fucking sharked here.
Now,
I got pool sharked massively on this one.
The one thing I will admit that sort of played against you in this bet recently is
his disbelief in anybody else's abilities to do stuff.
Two things. A, the past week I was feeling burnt out, and I was talking about this. I was playing Apex with Buddy and Ash the other night. I was having my my burnt out period probably over the last 10 days, which for people who don't know what I mean burn out in a way that I'm I can't be fucked writing anything, whatever. Everyone who creates content or does anything is everyone gets sort of a burnout phase. Some people just burn out and never come back. I was just I just needed to chill for a bit. But because of that, that means I was where maybe if I was feeling fine, I would have just been sitting down and been smashing out some more news stories or something like that. Instead, I was I cannot be fucked. I'm just going to play Pokemon, so because I was feeling burnout, it means that I was quite happy just to be, because usually I'd feel bad is the thing. And we've covered this where it's Dylan.
This is what I was betting on originally. Was there's no shot Dylan puts the time into this game because he's going to feel bad and do something else.
Usually it's a known thing. I do. I will feel bad if I'm not doing stuff that's actually for content or usable for content. But because I was in the complete opposite mood the last 10 days or week and a bit, it played completely against you because I was fuck the world. I'm playing Pokemon. The second thing that was playing against you, even if that wasn't a factor, was initially when I said it, I was very much I didn't even believe in myself, but the moment you made it a bet, it was going to happen.
Oh no, I also know this. I was very much the evil villain in any fucking, I already knew I was playing the villain part, and that's good. It's what I fucking do in these situations.
Yeah, you've been healed.
Is any villain that's you know what? I'm going to kill this entire family of potential enemies except for this one child. And I'm going to tell them, you remember this, you remember what I've done to your family, not realizing I've just created my downfall. And I was I've just given you the motivation to do it. And then, no, it was, because also at the time I was blah, 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 he's probably going to take a while, a couple of months till PAX, he's going to take a while, he probably can't do it on. I think after the episode, or maybe it was towards the end of that episode, you're yeah, I got 297 Pokemon already. I was what the fuck? I'm he's already had 3/4 of the way through this shit. I'm getting fucked here. I'm getting absolutely scamozzed. And you know what? It's fine. Losing 2 bets out of 3, as long as I get the 1 win. You know what? And out of all of them, Bayonetta is the most important win.
Okay.
I'm doing this because I'm not the villain in that one. I am the fucking protagonist. I'm the hero. I'm doing it for Ashley. Ashley and me are Sonic and Tails in that Bayonetta bet.
I think the villain would believe they're the protagonist. You know what I mean?
Everybody's the protagonist in their own story, okay?
And then the other thing I'll say as my weeks of Pokemon Sword updates continue, I've started on the second DLC as well, so I'm messing around in that a bit. They've changed how you do raids in that with other people. Instead of it just being a Gigantamaxed, again, I'm just talking about content I'm sure Nintendo podcast covered a year ago. But instead of being a Gigantamax Pokemon that you fight with 3 other players, which is how raids work in the core game. By the way, for anyone who's wondering, the game's still active as fuck. You'll get into raids easy. It's still the core. It's still the core Pokemon game. It's still until the new ones come out. And even then,
there's not raids in Arceus, is it?
No, and that's what I mean. Even though the game's 2 years old, this is still the current Pokemon game.
Even though people were even though for some reason a lot of articles were listing Arceus as like a Pokemon mainline game.
It's a spin-off still. It's still
that's a spin-off.
The raids that you do in the DLC is so it's still with 3 other players, except for you'll reach like, so you're going down like a dungeon and you're not walking, like you'll like automatically from a top down view, you see a little icon and then you can see like, it'll be like a water Pokemon with mist. Like it just gives you the signal telling you there's water Pokemon there. Maybe the other one's like a ground and you just have to vote. And then you go in that direction, you fight that Pokemon, Gigantamax Pokemon. You beat that Pokemon, you have the chance to catch it. If you choose you want to keep it, you switch to then using that one Pokemon instead of the one you had to continue on. So then you can sort of look ahead and be like, okay, so we'll try and go to the water Pokemon. I'll switch to that. And then at the next choice, we can take the ground Pokemon, whatever that ends up being. And then my water one will hopefully be able to beat it. By the time you get to the end of this dungeon thing, you can choose one to either keep the last Pokemon at the end or the one you was using through. So it's sort of like a spin instead of just fighting one Gigantamax Pokemon. It's a little bit different. But yeah, I'm enjoying that DLC as well. There's a bunch of legendaries to catch and a bit more of a story and whatever else. Adds another 100 Pokemon or whatever to the game. I think the total gets up to like 600 in the game out of the 800 total, 880 total of the game.
So you're going for the 600, right?
No, the bet was a living dex of 400, not living dex of all the DLCs.
I don't think a number was mentioned. I don't think a fucking number was mentioned. You said
the living dex of all Pokemon available in Sword and Shield.
No.
So.
Yes, you fucking did. No, you 100% did.
You didn't clarify this.
Go back.
There was no...
The DLC is technically part of the game.
No.
It's part of the game. There was no mention of 400.
No.
Because if there was a mention of 400, I would have been like, how many Pokemon do you already have?
Listen, I think we just need to let the people decide. I think that's
this is
fucked. Fair way.
This is fucked. I think you are...
I'm not even scared because I know this is the moment anyone goes back and listens, it is very clear on that podcast what my aim...
It's not very clear. No shot.
It is 100% clear.
No shot.
I said originally I wanted to get 100% complete Galar region Pokedex. It's not the wording I use,
this counts. They are Galar regions.
Once they... No. I think we need to get some expert opinions in.
You need to Google Galar region Pokedex and tell me the number it says and what Pokemon it is, because that's what I'm fucking doing. Right? It's 400 out of 400, of which I've just completed the Pokedex of, and now I'm trying to get the living Pokedex for. Now, the DLC Pokemon don't even have numbers associated to them when you open them up. The summary in your Pokemon, like if you're battling with them, you open a summary or whatever, they don't even have numbers associated to them. Whereas the main Pokedex in the game has a number associated to every Pokemon.
All right, I'll give it to you. That's all right. Yeah. That's all right.
They're just extras.
All right. All right. I just look it up. It's
okay
that you're just
says
weaseling this even more. That's fine.
Right, so what made you? I know last time I was talking to you, was like you were like, oh, I've always like maybe wanted to play it or whatever. Was it just like, oh my, like I'm really enjoying this game suddenly out of weirdly, like, and how much you played? How's it going?
So I think I'm up to 20 hours.
What the fuck?
Like, no, it was a lot. Like, I grabbed it last weekend.
I know, but that's still like a lot more than I thought you would have played by now. To be completely honest.
It was, but it's 20 hours. But like, I'm only up to the 3rd gym.
So you're in the wild area just all day? Like, what are you doing?
I've like been spending a lot of time just in the wild area, like because I've done this thing right where and this is probably the main motivation I had for playing the game, and I will say you inspired it. You have inspired it. So my way of playing Pokemon since I was a little kid is not gotta catch them all. It's you gotta catch the one that you're given at the start. You make them really fucking strong and you outlevel everything, and then you just win just by being stronger.
I mean,
in theory, I've still done that. My reboot is still kind of insane. Like, he doesn't really give a fuck about anything. Just smashes through whatever I need to. But this time, I've decided I at least want to complete the Pokedex. I want to catch it.
Oh, going for the complete Pokedex.
I don't want to do a living Pokedex because that sounds like a fucking crazy mainstream. But I want to Pokemon. You want
to post that screenshot of a certificate like I did on Twitter.
I don't give a fuck about the certificate thing. But like, it's something I've never done in a Pokemon game. I've never completed a Pokedex.
That's all they ever give you. They give you a certificate on the Game Boy games. They're like, here's your certificate.
Yeah,
get your Game Boy
and they
printer.
let you print it out. You can print it with your Game Boy printer. Yeah, exactly. So no, I decided I was going to do it. So literally, I have just been catching fucking everything that literally anything that comes up. It was really annoying at first that I worked out that in the wild area, it doesn't say it obviously enough that like stuff of a certain level you just can't catch yet. But
I mean, technically you can catch anything. It's just like whether you're able to. And then if anything's above a certain level,
it's what level it is. Because a lot of the Pokemon, if you go to the bigger ones, they're like, "Oh no, this Pokemon's on their guard. You can't catch them." Okay. And it's like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." But no, I've been doing that and I've been enjoying it. I will say, it's a good thing I'm playing this as like in handheld mode while I'm generally doing something else. Like
that's how I've been playing a lot because it's very
watching the footy or Critical Role or something. Because Pokemon games are fucking hella bland on the story stuff. Like they're very. You say that.
Wait till you meet Sordius and Shieldius, the two hair motherfuckers.
I get that. But like the core. The core gameplay is like, and it's just, I don't know. I don't love the writing. Your best mate is like,
he calls you mate all the time, doesn't he?
He does call you mate all the time. But he is such like, it's like so obvious that you're just better than him in every single way, but doesn't phase the kid. I'm waiting for it to phase the kid later down the line, like, and him be like, "Oh, you are better than me," and have an uplifting moment or whatever. But like this little fucking twerp, he's just like, "Mate, I don't even try when I fight you. I just do like one move in a lot of the time," and then he's always like, "Close battle." I'm like,
have you even have you had the music on when you've done any of the gym battles?
Yes.
Because the music that plays when you do the gym battles is a fucking banger.
I will say, cool. Like I like the thing about, like, I do actually like the battles are pretty fun now. In terms of graphically, they're actually interesting. They're not just, two still images kind of doing different moves or...
What was the last one you played before this, do you reckon?
Last one was either X and Y or Black and
you played, because I didn't play any of those, so... Yeah.
Yeah, so I played X and Y. Yeah, X and Y was the last one I played. So which those had upgraded, but they haven't had like the kind of the atmosphere, the larger kind of stadiums when you're doing the gym battles. It's they're good. It's a good game. It's good to just chill and do while I'm doing other things. But at the same time, it does, when you play it, you are like, fuck, come on, guys, like, please just and I think it shows that they're wanting to do that with how Arceus came out. That they're wanting to change how Pokemon games play, and I hope that continues.
Yeah. With the wild area, have you been playing mostly offline in there?
I don't think so.
Because if you connect online, then you'll see other players like riding around on their bikes and shit like that.
Oh, I've never done that, so I've never seen that.
So
okay.
You press
actually,
Y.
Could I say fucking sorry?
I was gonna say, so you press Y, you connect online. You can play in the wild area online. That's when you can like see people pop up asking you to like join their raids and invite other people, see people riding around on their bikes, stuff like that. However, you'll then straight away notice the big difference between riding around in the wild area where the frame rate seems to at least be consistent, and then when you go online, it just like is like, all right, let's just go to like half this, which is like one of my big negatives to the game. But still, even then, I'm like, whatever, like, it's not the end of the world. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, no, but I was gonna say my only annoying part is the little like notification shit that pops up in like the bottom left-hand corner of like...
Yeah, so it's all you if you're playing by yourself, but if you're playing with online, then it'll pop up and give you other players' notifications at the same time.
Yes, but even then, I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can turn it off, to be honest.
And I don't think you can turn it off. No. And especially when I'm catching lots of Pokemon, it's like just eternally stacked up with like 3 or 4 each time.
So like quite often, especially if I was just fucking around while watching something else or like trying to like look for a certain Pokemon where I'm just like going in and out of the same bush over and over, I'm playing online because I would, if it pops up down the bottom there, like so-and-so's looking, like the symbol saying someone's looking for a raid battle, I'll be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll jump in or try and jump in if it's not full or whatever. So I always like don't mind that being there, so I can be like, oh, someone wants a raid partner or whatever, jump into.
I will say, I'm not a big fan of Dynamaxing.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm like just sort of like whatever.
I'm just like I feel like it becomes a thing you have to do in the gym battles.
Yeah, it's just Mega Evolutions,
like,
but different. So like,
yeah, it's just I don't know. It feels like it's like, oh no, you need to do this in this gym battle.
Yeah, but you always do it at the same time, which is like the last Pokemon, which is what the gym leaders do. They just
yeah, and it's just like this is boring. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's interesting. I'll be you know, I don't want to say I fully believe in you, but I don't want to make any bets that you won't complete the Pokedex. But
you know what? My original thing was to like, if you were going to take ages to do your Pokedex, with like, or if you're distracted, it would be like turn up at PAX and just be like, hey, my Pokedex is done.
Look at this, bitch.
Go for me.
What bitch? Like, I haven't done a living Pokedex, but I did the actual Pokedex. Like,
that's like
you.
The other thing I've been doing, I know this isn't really a game thing, but I'll just mention because it's still Pokemon. I'm like, it's taken hours. I've just been doing it while like watching things or whatever. But I began like transferring in like one of any spares in Sword and Shield and Pokemon Go, Pokemon to Pokemon Home, so I can like sort of have like try and like get a Pokedex collection going in that game. But fuck, like transferring them all in and then like renaming all these boxes. So like each one's like, you know, Pokemon 1 to, so I think it's like 30 a box, so 1 to 30, but then doing that all the way up to like 800 or whatever, and then like having to manually move one Pokemon at a time to like where they are. It's hours and hours of work. I don't know why I'm doing it to myself, but like I'm not wasting my time because it's not the only thing I'm doing. Like I'm doing it while watching other things. It's very like mindless, just moving things in boxes around. Like I can multitask that pretty easily. But I'm like, there was a point where I was doing it the other night, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't know why, but I am fucking committed to this for some weird reason. But yeah, you'll at least have an easier task when you get to the stage where you're like, oh, there's all these region exclusives from Shield I need. At least you know, like, I can help you out there. So, like, I don't have Shield, but I've got the Pokemon now. So, like,
yeah, of course,
solve that problem. All right.
Wait. No? Do I ruin your living index by doing that though?
No. I'll just breed you one.
Oh.
That's what I would do. I would just breed you.
I was waiting to get them all and they'll be like, ha! You don't have a living Pokedex anymore.
So like that's how I got a lot of the exclusives anyway. All I did was like say that I can't remember the Pokemon's name, but like there's like, you know how like in all Pokemon games there's like the equivalent in Shield, like the Shield.
Yes.
It's like this game is this one is this one, which is basically like a very equivalent looking Pokemon. So it's like I just got the sword version. Bred a baby of it, or it's not a baby, but like a level 1 egg, hatched the egg, then transferred that into to Home, put it up as trade, wanting the other one, and then someone would trade you, and you can see it's come from a Shield game, which means they're just searching for the one I've got, which is totally what that app and that service is made for, like just to make trading like that easy. I didn't know. Apparently, they first had this service. It's called GTS in Sword and Shield. X and Y, I think, apparently is where they first introduced this service.
Yes.
But now they've moved it off this. I mean, you can trade in-game, but it's just easier to do it if you trade home, because then you can just manually search for the Pokemon that you're asking for. So it's like sort of, yeah. Another
one is, I'm yet to find a Garlean version of an original Pokemon that I like. Like the Meowth is horrific.
Farfetch'd, I did very early into my playthrough. I literally farmed up. So you have to catch the Farfetch'd, and then to evolve it into Surfetch'd, you have to, I think it's like, get it to do like, yeah, so it's something very weird, like Google it. It's like 20 critical strikes or something, or some very weird thing. So you have to like, I think how I did it is I kept it where it has the like focus strike or whatever, where it like powers up for a turn, and then like its next hit's guaranteed to be a critical strike or whatever. But it's some weird thing like that where it has to do like 20 critical strikes, and then it'll evolve into Surfetch'd. And Surfetch'd, I'm all about that shit. He has his giant fucking leak and shit. Yeah, I love that shit. Good shit. So there are some good Galarian for around. Main topic. Let's talk about bowling, volleyball, football.
It's called Nintendo Switch Sports.
Welcome to Grandstand Gurus. What a pull. Is that what it's actually called? Nintendo Switch Sports?
Yeah, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Okay, good bit. I was going to make it a bit.
The successor to Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Sports, which I keep calling it.
Was it called Nintendo Wii Sports? No, it was just Wii Sports.
It was just Wii Sports. Yeah.
So why don't they just call it Switch Sports? I guess
I have no idea. All I know is I keep calling this Nintendo Wii Sports. Forgetting what it's actually. Anyway, me and Ash, we played some Nintendo Switch Sports, which came out this past Friday, of course. The successor to one of the greatest games, selling games of all time, Wii Sports. Look, you can get into
I don't know if you could call it.
You can get into semantics all you like, but the fact is that
I don't know if it is the highest. Well, I guess it technically because it came out with every single Nintendo Switch. So
correct.
You can't have. I mean, Nintendo Wii. You can't have more game. You couldn't have sold more copies of a Nintendo game than you have consoles. I guess. Well, I guess you could, but it's like 100% attach rate is what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there were some limited editions that didn't have it, or secondhand consoles and sorts of stuff like that. But everyone played Wii Sports. Well, if they owned a Wii, obviously, everyone dabbled into some Wii Sports. Nintendo Switch Sports is the successor to that. Very much just built upon the foundation of that game. It is aimed at fans of that game. I don't feel like it's trying to do anything particularly mind-blowing. It's just innovative. Let's take Wii Sports. Let's, update it a little bit, make it look a little bit better. You can use your Miis if you want. There's some characters, customization, stuff like that. Here's some games. Have fun. It's got online now, which is how I was able to play. I feel like, and that's the thing I'll say out the gate, we put a couple hours in. I don't know if you've put some more time in since we played.
No,
neither. Haven't had time. Been at work. But the couple hours we played online, that's the major factor here. This game has online. If this game didn't have online, would I have been as excited for it? Probably not. I would have brought it. I probably would have mucked around a little bit, but I don't do RL friends, I don't have those. Not going to be not going to be a huge success for me. You know what I mean? Like, if this game wasn't online, do you reckon you would have got it?
Maybe, because, my little brother would probably play it.
You've got family. Fair enough.
I got family that I like. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine are all dead. No, they're not. I don't know why I said that.
Wow.
I probably would have played some by myself, but I definitely feel like online is the game changer here. So what do we got? Off the top of my head, let's list off the games because it couldn't be the opening, I think. We got bowling. We got foosball, which we'll come back to because it's one of the biggest changes here, or one of the most innovative, I guess, for this game.
Well, yeah.
We got badminton. We got tennis.
Yes.
We've got fencing that's called something else that's not fencing.
Cabra or something like that.
Yep, sword fighting.
Yes.
And we've got... What am I missing?
Volleyball.
They're the 6 games in here at the start. Ash, how's your experience when we played? So we played a little bit by ourselves and then a little bit after, but the majority of our time we played the other night was Buddy Watson... Radio Watson, subscribe to his podcast. Check out his twitch.tv/Buddy Watson. I think. I hope.
Check the show notes below.
I mean, if it's not that, come on. Fire the other guy who got that channel. Come on. Buddy was streaming. We jumped in, played games with him. We played a little bit of everything, did the rounds. Now, we primarily played only the same 3 games because... and Drew was also there. Drew from the House of Mario. Shout outs. Go subscribe.
Probably less of them. They'll probably have a better in-depth discussion about this.
Probably. They do Nintendo. We do
everything.
Everything not great, but more. So we could only play the 3 games that let you play with more people. And there's a bunch of games that only let you play there's 2 people. So we played some before, we played some afterwards so I could get a hand. But yeah, how was your overall thoughts experience from Nintendo Switch Sports overnight?
It has a very nostalgic feeling. It feels like playing Wii Sports again. Especially things like bowling and tennis. It feels almost identical, except, it does it not 100% the same. Maybe it's just, muscle memory and that kind of stuff. But Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I think, there's it's exactly what I wanted it to be, a fun opportunity to play sports games with the Joy-Cons, with the gyroscopes and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty solid product, and it's shocking that it's taken 5 years into Nintendo Switch's life cycle for them to put it out.
Yeah. What was your favorite game?
Probably football. That is surprisingly fun. This football version is pretty much Rocket League, but with like me avatars.
Yeah. Now, I was really surprised jumping into this how it actually played. So, do you want to try and explain how this actually plays? Because the majority of the games are stationary, I guess. This game is both Joy-Cons and the analog sticks and buttons. It's everything. I don't know. How do you reckon you could explain? You love football.
He's playing the
Soccer?
football.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing your swiping to up and down, left and right. That's to kick in certain directions. You can also got a dash button, and then you also have the option to like do passes if you hold down the right, right, Z, and basic jump and that kind of stuff. And also you can do like a diving header, which is more powerful than a kick. So, for clearing, that would be a great option to like do a diving header, but you also run the risk of missing the ball if you do that, that kind of stuff. It definitely plays a lot like Rocket League, where you've also got your other Joy-Con, your other analog stick or joystick. You can like move the camera so you can see where the other players are and where the ball's potentially going and that kind of stuff. So yeah. I think, it is a family-friendly version of Rocket League, a game that is very family-friendly.
Yeah, I was surprised at how good this was, considering it's because we jumped in and I was like, how do we actually play this? Like, I'm actually controlling the character and I can move the camera around and I can, you can kick in any direction you want. And
there isn't the aerialness of Rocket League.
No,
that's the only thing. But
you're playing as a human character. It would be,
yeah. But I mean, if the ball goes flying over your head, there's nothing.
No. There's nothing you can do.
There's really nothing you can do.
No. So you got to have a defense. You got to have the defense on. None of those AI characters are staying back to play defense. Yeah. That was the only thing I was sort of annoyed about was that I couldn't do old CPU versus AI and just put on hard AI. I had to at least put one player, one of the four of us, assigned to the opposite team to let me start the game. So I was like, why? Why can't all of us be on the same team? 4v4, AI versus us. Just for fun. I don't know. Bit weird. I'm like, I don't know why they restricted that. Bit weird.
There's a bunch of weird things like that, though. Like, obviously, there's an global online mode in which you earn a lot of perks and, like, gain experience and able to level up your characters. If you're playing against your friends in, like, a party room, you don't get anything. So the only way to earn that experience is to play against randoms on the internet.
Yeah. And
I don't think you can't even like party up with your mates to play
in the same room. You could, but just not online, which is the thing. Yeah. Can't even do like one friend and play online sort of thing. You're automatically locked out.
You can do it locally, I believe, because unless you go into that mode with two players.
Yeah, if you play locally, you can still do it.
But then you're like,
yeah. That was the one thing. So a bunch of reviews dropped Thursday or whenever it was, early Thursday morning, I think maybe midnight-ish or something. But a lot of the people weren't giving it scores because people who had review codes didn't have access to the online portion, and some people were dropping review scores. And this was leading to some discussion on the tweets and stuff like that. I definitely feel like looking at this game without online, I don't know how you could personally sort of give any view. Like,
I mean, the games don't change. It's just like,
I guess, but having played, so all of us playing together definitely enhances the game. That's a true experience. So you could at least get that if you have other friends to play with. Sure, I'll give you a pass if you actually got the chance to play with other people. If you're just playing single player, I just like
against AI,
you're not getting a true experience. And then also a big part of this game is definitely those unlocks. So when you do play online versus randoms, at the end of the game, depending on, obviously your position, if you're first or last or whatever, you do get experience points and you'll level up your character. And it's got like 2 packs currently of gear. So there's like a basic pack and there's a cuteness pack. And when you pick one of those, once you like level up or whatever, it randomly, you get an item that you can see on screen. Like it's from one of those packs. And these packs, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're like, this pack's expiring in 30 days. So presumably, then they're going to rotate in some more rewards. Yeah, I think
I feel like it was like 19, yeah.
Yeah. And then they're going to rotate in, I guess, 2 more packs of stuff. Now, it's not just cosmetics, although that's primary, a lot of it, I guess, like different shirts and stuff like that to change your character up. But also, you can get different bowls and tennis rackets and like it's basically everything in the game that your character would use or wear is the sort of stuff you can unlock. So for people who want some sort of progression more than just playing the game, it seems like there's if they're going to change out these things every so often and stuff to chase to customize your character. And then something I haven't tried out, and I don't actually know if it's even live in the game yet, but that pro mode thing, so there is like a ranked league thing that this game has
I have not.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen it.
You have to win several times in a row
to get invited
to get into it. So
yeah.
You haven't been winning that many times.
No, I didn't know if it was like on the screen and it's like blanked out, but I definitely didn't see it.
I think it probably just unlocks, I'd assume.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, this game's got that as well for people who want to get like pro at any of the stuff. It's like you can get invited to this like special ranked league thing, which I presume has its own rewards. I don't actually remember, but either way, it's got bragging rights, that's for sure. So there's a lot here. Like the game, weirdly for Nintendo, seems heavily built around the online modes, less so than, of course, the original Wii Sports was built around the lounge room,
Yeah.
And yeah, Nintendo is coming. I know usually make fun of them for how far behind they are usually with online stuff and whatever else, but a lot of their games more recently, online functions, and most of them all been working pretty great, I think. I don't feel like you could complain about some stuff. Like I remember, like I liked Mario Party, that last one. What was that? Superstars, right? No. All Stars, whatever it's called.
All Stars, something Stars.
Stars. The one that was like the old, some old courses and
the best of.
The best ofs, yeah. If I'd played that by myself, I would have played it and been like, nah, it's not as much fun without other people. That had online. And I think I talked about on here, like playing online, and even with like the same as this game, you have the option of doing like just little emoji reactions, sad face, happy face, laughing face, stuff like that. It had the same thing in that game. But even just that little player interactivity, knowing you're playing against real people, definitely livens up the game. And I feel like that's the same here. Obviously, if we're like you and I were on a Discord call just together, so even if you jump on a Discord call and play these games together, that's going to change it all up. You can jump on the Nintendo's.
You could try and use the Nintendo Switch app.
You can try and use the Nintendo Switch app, which I did jump into quickly just to see how quickly.
I don't even have it installed, so that's why it was.
I was like, I jumped in just to see how quickly it would be like you're in a game. Like how quickly I was wondering, and it was pretty fast. It was like I opened the app. You're in a game. Do you want to join a voice channel? Yes, cool. So I don't know. We never actually used it, but at least joining it seemed fast, and that's the first time I would have ever tried. But yeah, I would say bowling's my favorite because that's just simple, classic Wii Sports fun, and nothing much has changed here. It's just the exact same thing. They do have this other mode now where they add obstacles and moving courses and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. Like it definitely added
different dimension. Like you couldn't just do the same role.
No, yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
I just switch things up.
I couldn't play bowling for ages because I definitely just do the same role, or like there's no. I mean, that's no different to real life bowling, I guess. Like
I just gotta find the sweet spot for how to spin the ball to into the pins, the right amount.
I tell you what, I'm very much a like I'm like dead center, well not dead center, but just off to the side or whatever, try and hit it. But I just skid that sucker down with like the bare mouth spin, right? I watched Buddy do it like when on the stream, and he's doing these weird like.
He's angled, like as close to the gutter as possible.
Yeah, as close to the gutter, like spin it in. And I'm like, is this for bragging rights or is this like his technique? Because like it's pretty much.
I mean, it is because hit the pin at a certain angle, and then you'll be able to get all of them potentially.
Yeah, but I'm like, is he doing it that way because he finds it easier to do it that way, or just because it looks cooler?
I mean, probably both.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the best I got, and I posted on Twitter, was I got 4 strikes in a row, and I was like, oh, that was pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool. The one
but in the online mode, I think the thing is, there's such a delay between bowls, so you can't get the rhythm right. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. Yeah. You can't go, I'll do it exactly the same way because, the time in between.
Yeah. Gotta watch other people and load and whatever.
You gotta wait for them. It's like, sucker.
Bullshit.
7-10 split.
The game I was worst at, though? Volleyball.
I like volleyball.
Yeah.
Volleyball's
Ash is a blocking god in volleyball. The thing I was bad at is just the timing.
Just
for the. Is it the spike?
Spiking.
Yes. My timing on that spike, boy, God, I don't know. Like I not the greatest.
It's not that complex, really. It is kind of like a co-op kind of thing where you have to.
Yeah.
One person will receive, then the next person will set up to the other person to do a up jump motion and then a spike motion. So it's not that complicated. It's just getting the timing right.
But when we had those back and forth volleys, and then you'd be like, "Where the fuck? Someone's going to hit the ball." And I'm playing the character at the back, on guard or whatever,
receiving
or whatever, and it's like smack, like you'd block, like hit block, and you'd be like, "Fuck, where's it going to come?" And then next second I don't know, like it would come, you'd swear you'd like react as fast as you could, and just couldn't quite. Like get in there in time, so that's sort of always annoying.
I think it was that was a good one, and a bit of a difference to the other 2 net games, which are kind of similar.
Yeah, tennis does feel, I guess, different enough to badminton, but it's still just very similar to the point that I'm like,
very similar.
I wish this was something else.
I think badminton's interesting because obviously it is the new one. And like the back and forth is the timing is a little bit different and that kind of stuff. It feels like where you have the racket feels like it has more importance, whereas the tennis is just swing and hope. I mean,
tennis. I think you realize pretty fast you got to be aiming a bit better with that because the amount of times you were hitting it out of bounds.
It's also a timing thing. I feel like it.
It's both, I guess. Yeah. And I mean, they got all the rules there too because even one time you just got caught out because it was like a double bounce and.
Yeah.
It's like, no, get fucked. We're a hardcore tennis game. We got all the rules here. We got no playing around. I would say my least.
So then you can't play 4 people tennis.
No, and I think that's dumb. Why isn't there like you control both characters? Why couldn't one of those be another player? That's
one person stays at the net, one person stays back.
That seems weird. I don't know why. And you just pick that in the selection. Like this person's the front. Like you know what I mean? Like
it just swaps around all the time.
Yeah, between rounds. Worst game, sword fighting.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same as it was in Wii Sports. They've added extra swords, like you do twin swords and other stuff. But
you build up like a charge attack thing.
You just swing and hope for the best most of the time. I'm sure there's more strategy to it and that kind of thing, but that's the one I'm probably going to play the least.
Yeah, that's the one I'm like, whatever. I don't care for this shit. The rest were good though. And obviously golf is on the way. I don't know if there's actually a release date for that, but sometime soon, I think, is the general gist of that one. Keen. Play some more.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
promising.
It's definitely the type
Hopefully, with the addition of golf in the future, that could leave the door open for.
Yeah. I was saying the other night when we was playing Apex with Buddy, that like prior to playing this, obviously, like before release, that I just think that they're going to expansion pass it. I think they'll put a bunch of more courses in the future. They'll release expansion expansion in this game. They'll be part of the expansion Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass thing, which like given that they just, and we didn't talk about it on this episode because I was like, I don't think anyone cares but me, but they added the Octo expansion for Splatoon 2 to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass now. So much like how I theorized when they originally announced it, I was like, wouldn't it be cool one, like they'll go back and add some stuff and, make this So I think Nintendo, they're not trying to fight Game Pass, but their answer or their equivalent to the Nintendo fan base is becoming this expansion pass thing where they're going to build upon the value of that and the reason to up your subscription from your Nintendo Online subscription to the expansion pass subscription. And if you use at least 2 of those things on that, I think it kind of pays for itself at this point. You just need like 2. Because I think the price difference, by the time you're looking at like a $35, $40 expansion between some of these things that are available, it's like by the time you got 2 of those things ticked off, it's paid for itself. And then anything extra on that you try out is just a bonus. So I think that's where they would definitely put some more games. I don't know how many. I think 3 or 4 for it. Like after golf would probably be enough. I think in my mind, 3 or 4 more games.
Yeah, I'd imagine they bring back boxing. That's a pretty simple one to bring back. Maybe something basic like, I don't know. What did they have in Sports Resort?
I never played that, so I actually don't know. That's what, because that you had to get the Motion Plus, right? And that came with it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I never dove into the. I never seen. I was going to say the reason, like playing this, the reason I think a lot of the games feel so much better is because I never got a Motion Plus, which obviously made the Switch feel.
So baseball was the other one.
Baseball, that's right.
Baseball in the original was the other one. In the Wii Sports had swordplay, wakeboarding, frisbee, disc golf, archery, basketball, table tennis, power cruising,
the fuck is
canoeing,
that?
and cycling. Yeah, a bunch of those sort of ones you could like chuck in.
I know they're adding golf, but fuck, I would love some disc golf. I remember I can't remember what the game was called, but the Sports Champions, right? PS Move, that one. I went ham on disc golf for that. That was the one I loved the most.
Makes sense. You got golf, so like you just need to do the same courses, right?
I mean, you can use the same courses. You just change the holes to be baskets with the chain baskets.
Yeah, you just change the golf clubs to
arms. I don't know.
Arms.
Wait, that's a different game. Yeah. So I mean, they can do 2 expansions. We're not ruling out.
Yeah. I mean, just chuck in all the games that you already made for the Olympic Games that you've been debating. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard to translate it over.
It's weird though, because like this has football in it, but Mario Strikers is about to come out. And the next game they're adding is golf, and they just released golf.
They've already golf.
So you would have thought that they kind of kept those 2 off to the side and released them further down the track to separate them and had them those 2 games be different, like maybe basketball and something else.
These are a lot more casual, like even more casual than those games.
Yeah. It's not to say that Strikers is like, that's the thing. Strikers is definitely nothing like playing football in this, and Mario Golf is nothing like playing golf in this. But yeah, it's just the like people being like, well, anyway, came for Strikers as well. So
also, pro tip: if you have not played the game yet, you're about to play through the online mode first because they have tutorials for each of the sports.
Nah, just jump in. You got it.
Nah.
If you've ever played these games in real life, you don't need to play no tutorial.
Especially if you're about to play other people, you'll get the advantage and like you'll know how to play these other sports.
No, they've already got all the advantages. The game's been out like a weekend by now. Everyone's up. Too bad. You're in the noob squad. Can't make it. It's already pros. Esports. Nintendo Switch Sports. Esports. It's coming at you. They'll do it. This week's episode of Arcade Couch. Let us know any comments, questions, concerns you have. If you're also being inspired to go play a Pokemon game that released several years ago, like we all have, because we spent so much time there discussing.
Except for Ashley. Ashley's like, too cool.
Ashley's too cool for school. Find us all on Twitter, explosionetwork.com/Twitter, explosionetwork.com/Discord, takes you to our Discord. And if you liked this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to explosionetwork.com/support to drop as little as $1 for the website, for the podcast. Keep the lights and web services running. And until next week, same time, same couch. Bye.